Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Chats with Chaudhry. I hope you're safe and well. Now, if you weren't aware, there's a big show coming up in 2 weeks' time, which is SLAS 2024's annual conference in Boston. So today, I'm delighted to be catching up with Lesley Mathews, who's the scientific director for the event, and Amy Wilkinson, who's director of global events and corporate partnerships, to talk about the event and sort of give us a bit of a preview of what you can expect to see if you're going to be in Boston on February the 3rd to the 7th. So, first of all, ladies, how are you both?
Well,
Wonderful. Thank you.
thank you.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Now, first question though, for people not familiar with SLAS as an organization, would one of you be kind enough to give you as a quick overview of who SLAS are and what you do?
You bet. So SLAS, also known as SLAS or SLAS, we'll take any and all comers, is the Society for Laboratory Automation and Screening. And we are a global community of about 2,300 researchers working in the various silos, threads of the life sciences, including both research and technology development. We are an organization that I believe is unique in the fact that our technology developers are really an important part of our scientific community and have research and collaboration to share broadly across the globe.
Fantastic. Lesley, do you want to add anything?
I think the other thing to know about the organization is we're really have a foundation in education. And so a lot of what we do is to not only have the show and the exhibition, but to really educate next generation scientists about the type of material and content that you'll see.
Fantastic. All right, now let's talk about the actual event. Now, I know correct me if I'm wrong, but you're celebrating an anniversary. Are you celebrating an anniversary this year? Have I got that wrong?
We're always celebrating an anniversary, but this is our 13th year.
Right, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
for viewers who have never been to SLAS, can you give them a bit of a background on how the conference has developed over the years to what it is now? And also, who was the target audience, both in terms of the visitors and also the exhibitors as well?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So as I mentioned, this is our 13th annual presentation of the event, which is sort of mind-blowing. This is our second time hosting in Boston, but our first time hosting in Boston in a non-pandemic environment. We were in Boston once previously in 2022, and things were still a little crazy at that time. So what we're really excited for about this iteration of the conference is seeing what we can do in Boston for reals. We are so excited about bringing this event to the East Coast SLAS community, making the event so much more accessible to our European audience, given that they don't have to fly across the entire country of the United States to get to us. And, really this event aims to be as inclusive as possible. And that is the culture of SLAS as an organization, and that's the culture of this community broadly. And our target audience is really any person that is aiming to help SLAS achieve a unification of great minds working in life sciences and technologies. And our goal truly is to transform research. That's in our tagline, that's in all of our materials, and it really speaks to the culture of SLAS. In particular, though, this event has just grown. We broke an attendance record in 2023, and we're on track to keep breaking records in 2024. We saw the highest attendance ever in San Diego last year. And that's been pretty consistent across events of our size and scope, that first post-pandemic event is kind of just crushes all past metrics. This year in Boston, we have our largest exhibit hall ever presented in the history of this event across all 13 years, with the most exhibitors we've ever welcomed. And we're super excited to just dig our claws into the Boston community.
Fantastic. I mean, you mentioned numbers. I know, speaking to Vicky, who is the CEO of SLAS, you told me last year when I was at the show that, like you said, you broke all records. It was well over 7,000 visitors that you got. You said you got record numbers of exhibitors. I think again you've got over 300 exhibitors this year in the hall.
400 this year.
400. Right,
Mhm,
that's
yeah.
even more walking for me to do than at the show.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. I mean, in terms of technology that people can expect to see, what sort of technology can people expect to see if they were to come to the show?
I can take that question, Razan. I think what is really unique to what we're seeing this year is the ability of our tech providers to work on integration and to understand how different systems in relation to your liquid handler, your acoustic dispenser, your high content imager. A lot of companies are now gearing their heads toward, well, how can we get these to talk to each other a bit better?
Right.
And so you'll see a lot of that on the showroom floor with regards to APIs and the technology of how we're integrating these different instruments. And it really is changing the way that we can do science, because the more instruments that you have to put into your platform, the more applications that you can really do in the laboratory.
Right, fantastic. Now, you touched on the fact that obviously you've got the exhibition floor, but what are the core features of this year's event?
You know, I'd say the core features of this year's event are obviously the showroom floor with all our exhibitors, but our podium program. We have a wonderful program that we've put together with different topics, in the sense that if you're a drug discovery biologist, you'll find something. If you're a laboratory automation scientist, you'll find something. If you're a chemist and you're looking on automating chemistry, your sample management, you're looking to automate, your sample management platforms a bit better. So definitely take advantage of the podium program and the diversity that we've encompassed in this program this year. And of course, posters. We have an array of posters that will be displayed this year. So not only the podium program, but do take advantage of the poster program. And like you said, put your walking shoes on, get ready to embark on those halls of the exhibit rows of posters, and really dive into the posters, because there's a lot of content in that material that really can resonate for a tech provider or a researcher in the field.
Right. Now let's talk about the conference itself, though, because you have a conference running alongside it, which is an integral part, I know, of the event. So what are the topics that you're going to be covering within the conference program?
Yeah, we have a number of different tracks that are being covered this year. The traditional tracks, if you will, automated, technologies, assay biology, and screening. But something that's really interesting that, I think our program development team has come through this year is understanding new modalities and how new technologies and new types of small molecules, new types of PROTACs, new types of different, the buzzwords for biologics and immuno IO type drugs. So we're really emerging on the field of understanding how small molecules relate to laboratory science, but also how these other new modalities. We have great talks coming up on biomolecular condensates from a number of different companies. And I think that'll be really interesting to understand how these molecular machines can be targeted from a drug discovery approach. So I would definitely take advantage of more of the traditional assay development, screening, and automation technologies, but keep an eye on some of these new modalities and cellular technologies as well.
Fantastic. And it just popped into my head, but who's your keynote speaker? Because you always have a well-known speaker on the last day, don't you? Or the last session, I suppose, presenting.
We
So
do.
who have you got lined up this year, or is it a secret?
It's not a secret. We actually have two wonderful podcasters from a podcast called This Podcast Will Kill You. They're dual Aarons. They're both named Aaron. They're actually epidemiologists by training, and they're going to talk about science, communication, and culture, and a little bit of flavor in there with epidemiology and infectious disease and how it's perceived amongst commonplace people in the society today.
Fantastic. Now, as well as that, and we did touch on it, that you've got the big exhibition floor and you've got the podium things, but you've also got, I know, the innovation avenue and also the startup zone, which is, I suppose, the innovation area to a degree, but also the awards as well. So for viewers, again, not familiar with those, what are they and why should people be interested to attend those particular sections of the show?
You want me to take that again, Amy?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay,
Please.
all right. I don't want to monopolize the time.
No.
The awards program is stellar this year as well. As you mentioned, we have Innovation Avenue, where startup companies can really showcase their emerging technologies and have support from other scientists who've been through this process, of opening up what it is to have a company and have new products on the floor. So in addition to Innovation Avenue, we have our Innovation Award for the best podium speaker. We have our Ignite Award that will reward that Innovation Avenue, if you will, the best Innovation Avenue unveiling of the year. And then we have our student poster awards. We have a number of different awards that are recognizing early career scientists in the poster spectrum. So we really do have emerging awards that are recognizing people at all different levels, from startups to emerging career scientists.
Fantastic.
Anything to add, Amy? Did I miss anything there?
Well, with regard to Innovation Avenue, it is truly a mission-centric aspect of this event that really just helps SLAS to fulfill its mission of transforming research. What's really interesting and cool when you stop by Innovation Avenue is the realization and the perspective that these are truly first-time exhibitors. These are companies that otherwise would not have been in a position to be on the SLAS exhibition floor. And it creates such an amazing impact on the rest of the floor, and amazing energy. And it allows SLAS and the entire community to have relationships with those companies going forward. It's really, really an inspiring place to hang out, for sure, when you're in Boston.
Fantastic. Now, one question we'll ask you, obviously during the pandemic, obviously everyone went virtual. Then straight after the pandemic, people trying to run things concurrently, which was a nightmare, I know, because it's very, very expensive and very difficult to run everything concurrently. But what is the role digital is going to play with SLAS this year in terms of the event in Boston?
So SLAS 2024 is strictly an in-person event. So come see us, please come see us. Now, that said, our exhibition show floor and floor plan are available online, as is our poster gallery. So for those individuals that are attending the conference in Boston and aren't able to visit every single exhibitor or aren't able to see every single poster, that content is there for you to reach out and to explore after you leave Boston. We definitely saw coming out of the pandemic that our community members were excited to be back in person, and that the resources that we were investing into presenting the content digitally were not achieving any traction. And we just didn't see community involvement through those channels of content consumption. So we do have online programs available throughout the year, but our conferences and our events are strictly in person at this point.
Fine, thank you for sharing that.
So
finally, question. Everyone's been listening to this going, oh, that's interesting, but they might still be thinking, oh, I don't know, Boston's going to be cold in that week. Is it worth getting on a plane or a train and heading there? So last words, why should people put on their parka, their wellies, or whatever they want to wear on their feet, and gloves, and head to Boston for SLAS 2024?
Well, the weather looks lovely if you look at the forecast. It truly does. It's going to be sunshine and moderate temps.
Is it? Oh, good, right. You just helped me decide which trainers I'm
absolutely
not conventional.
But even if that was not the case, it is not cold in the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. It will be warm. There will be, people and networking opportunities and program content available all around. And we have coat check. So you can wear your parka there and then drop it off at coat check and not think about it again until you're getting ready to leave. But there are a couple of really exciting things about the SLAS 2024 conference and exhibition that are new. One is, going back to Lesley's overview of the program, we have over 700 presenters presenting content at this conference and exhibition. That is across all channels of program presentation, and that is absolutely spectacular. As we mentioned, we have 400 exhibitors. That's not a number we've been able to say before, and so that's super, super exciting. And something that's really near and dear to my heart is that we are embarking on a sustainability challenge for ourselves. We're doing a baseline assessment of this event to start towards a mechanism of presenting in-person events in a sustainable way going forward. And I really think that SLAS is at the front of that initiative. And I'm really, really excited to see what comes out of that. You'll see a lot of sustainability push throughout the event in Boston, including our Give Back to Boston Bash, which is kind of a surprise and delight sort of thing that we're doing in Boston for the first time. It's scheduled in the exhibition on Tuesday, and it'll include a number of super, super cool ways for attendees and exhibitors to engage with the local Boston community and give back to our host city, which is really, really important for SLAS. We also have some other surprise and delight things that we're doing that I'm not going to tell you about, because you have to turn up in Boston to see them. So,
all right, fantastic. And Lesley, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, one thing that I'm pretty excited about seeing, and you'll hopefully see it right in front and show in the beginning of the conference itself, is something called the Lobster Bots. So we actually have first generation, if you will, or they're called first students from a program that is Emerging Engineers. And it's a group that's been working on basically bringing this science to early career scientists, and these are high schoolers. So this is their engineering team, if you will, and they'll be present at our conference. And so their name is very, very catchy, and I hope that their science and their robotics will be too.
Fantastic. Well, look, Amy, Lesley, it's lovely to see you both. And by the way, viewers, I must point out, Amy's got a cold, or actually she's had flu this week, and she's been a trooper to come and do this. And Lesley only knew you was doing this about an hour ago. So they both done fantastically well given the circumstances. So thank you both for taking the time out to do the interview with me. I hope the build up goes really, really well next week, because it's not very far for you, obviously, given the 3rd.
Thank you.
I'll hopefully be there on the 5th. For the exhibition opening in the evening, hopefully, and see you then. So viewers, hopefully you've already got your ticket. If you haven't, why not? Because these two lovely ladies will want to know why haven't you sorted your ticket out. So check the link above the video, click on it, and learn more about SLAS 2024 and sign up if you are remotely interested in lab automation, drug discovery, or life science, because there's loads of stuff going on, as they quite rightly said. And if you're there, then look out for my orange trainers and top. I'd love to say hello to you, as would Amy and Lesley, I'm sure, as well. I don't know what colors they're wearing on the site. I'm sure they'll work it out. And until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.